Good morning. This webinar offers closed captioning. To enable closed captioning, click on the live transcript button on the bottom of your screen and choose your preferred method. Welcome to the Chicago Department of Business Affairs and Consumer Protection webinar. Please note any website or email that I mention will be posted in the chat box. For those seeking business licensing assistance, you can visit the Small Business Center at City Hall or call 312-74-GO-BIZ. Also, business licenses can be applied for or renewed online at chicago.gov/business licensing. The BACP Entrepreneur Certificate Program now has a new portal, and getting your certificate is as easy as 1, 2, 3. 1. Register for the BACP Entrepreneur Certificate Program. 2. Attend 6 free BACP webinars from listed categories and receive credit after each. 3. Graduate from the program and receive your certificate. Graduating from the BACP Entrepreneur Certificate Program makes you eligible to apply for a CIBC Bank USA's Entrepreneurial Loan Program. For full program details, visit chicago.gov/BACP certificate. For webinar calendar, please visit chicago.gov/BACP webinars. If you are already a part of the program, your account will automatically reflect the credit for joining this webinar within 24 hours. Also, this webinar is being recorded and will be available at youtube.com/ChicagoBACP. I will post the mentioned information in the chat box. We encourage attendees to ask questions. Please use the chat box to send your questions. There will be a Q&A session at the end of the presentation. Please note that the views, information, and opinions expressed during this webinar are solely those of the presenter and do not necessarily represent the official policy or position of the Department of Business Affairs and Consumer Protection or the City of Chicago. Today's webinar will be a chronological order to digital marketing success, presented by Danny Coello, CEO and founder of DS&P Digital Marketing Agency based here in Chicago. Danny?
Good morning, everyone. Let me actually switch over to sharing my screen. There we go. First of all, thank you, everyone, for joining. Thank you very much to the BACP office. You guys do an amazing job, and that's one of the reasons why I love cooperating with them and helping support businesses, Chicago and beyond. Thank everyone that is attending this webinar for taking their time, their valuable time, to be on here to discuss how to achieve online success. My name is Danny Coello, as Geraldine so politely mentioned. I am the CEO and founder of DS&P Digital Marketing. We're an agency that has been around for 15 years, and we've definitely seen all the different changes within the digital spectrum. So there is a certain level of expertise and knowledge that comes with what we've done, what we're doing, and what we will be doing in the future. On our first slide, as you can see in the upper right-hand corner, there is a QR code. Take your phones right now and scan it. That actually will take you to all the links on some of the things, on everything actually that we will see on this webinar, including the history of where we come from, the full information on this webinar, all the slides, along with a ton of other information at your disposal when it comes to being as knowledgeable as possible within the digital marketing realm. I'll give you another 30 seconds, 15 seconds or so for you to take your phone or take a screenshot of this slide or scan your QR code so that it can take you to that landing page. All right, let's get the process started. In the very beginning of our website, There is a huge title right after our logo, and it says, "Are you still marketing like it's 1989?" Retro is cool, but not when it comes to your marketing. I love the whole retro theme, and I love reminiscing on things of old. I'm a victim. I splurged on a record player last year, and love all that stuff. But retro and in some of the old school marketing is not as effective as digital can be. And that's the beauty of digital marketing. As a matter of fact, as an owner of this business, of this agency, I did not have before any prior training or degree in marketing. What I did have is plenty of expertise in owning businesses. That's what I had done my entire life. My father has been in business his entire life, his own businesses. His two brothers, my two uncles, have been entrepreneurs and business owners their entire life. So pretty much since high school, I was involved in family businesses, solopreneur efforts, partnerships, all kinds of different things that you can think of. And by the way, in all kinds of different fields. When I started this marketing agency, originally what I wanted to do was kind of get this agency to profitability, sell it, and move on to something else. However, I absolutely love what I do. I love what our agency does. It makes a difference in people's lives. And that's the reason why I am here this morning, to empower you with information, to empower you with things that you may find extremely beneficial, whether it is the entire thing or whether there are going to be pieces of this presentation that may be extremely helpful to you. And this is why the webinar is called A Chronological Order to Digital Marketing Success. Over the 15 years that we've had the agency, we've come to find out that a website by itself is not going to make you successful online. Paid advertising by itself is not going to make you successful online. Facebook or TikTok or Instagram by themselves are not going to bring you sustainable success. So what you need to do is follow that chronological order so that you can have a long-term sustainability, long-term profitability with your business so that you can continue to grow as a business. And that's our goal, and that's what we're going to be discussing today. First of all and foremost, whether you're considering starting a business or whether you own a business already and you're taking the time to do this, congratulations. Take a moment right now to tap yourself on the shoulder and congratulations. There is only a small percentage of the population that actually is willing and able and has the level of risk taking to actually start a business. For those that do, and for those who manage to run a business into success, it's like nothing else. Yes, it comes with headaches. Yes, it comes with heartbreak. Yes, there is so much sacrifice in time and effort that you have to put into it, but it is also so rewarding. And this is why we love supporting small businesses. And congratulations to everyone that is here, whether you're considering on being a business owner or whether you are a business owner already. Let me actually discuss something because it will give you also a little bit of perspective into what we do. Prior to starting this agency, I was actually managing a print shop and a sign shop. We used to do both things. It was actually it's an industry that is very challenging. The profit margins are tiny. You have to do lots of volume. The equipment and everything is so super expensive. And but I have a background in that kind of marketing. And I am not here to tell you that you should not do conventional marketing. You should. As a matter of fact, diversifying your marketing efforts is it's extremely wise. So you should do um, flyers and door hangers and in trifolds, in presentations and books, and there is a room for that. And you should also maybe even consider conventional media, radio and billboards and things like that. I am not here to tell you that you shouldn't do it. But what I am here to tell you is that if you have a limited budget, or if you want to focus on efforts that will generate the best result, you should focus on the digital marketing side because you're choosing who gets to see your advertising. On a billboard, we actually used to print. We had the large printers. Excuse me. That would allow for billboard printing. And yes, it's extremely expensive. And yes, you get massive exposure, but it's only exposure. With digital marketing, you can control absolutely everything from who sees you, how many times they see you, what happens whenever they click on your content, what kind of information you're able to gather from the person who's interested in your services. All of those things, you can create a click funnel from I'm not sure if all of you have heard of it, but it's basically creating a client journey from the very beginning. And it's extremely difficult to do that in conventional TV, in billboards, even in radio. It's a little more challenging to do it. Once again, not here to tell you that you should do it, but if you want to focus on getting the best return on investment, you should strongly consider digital marketing. Now let's look at this slide. This right here is your Cliff Notes version of our webinar. This right here is the meat on the bone. This is what tells you pretty much everything that we're going to be discussing. Screenshot it, take your phone and take a picture of this. This is your journey. This is what you should be doing in chronological order to achieve success. One other disclaimer that I'm going to do is this. We will teach you this chronological order, but we're not here to tell you, or I am not here to tell you, that if you do this order in upside down order, or if you only do step 3 and 5, or if you only do the last step, that you're not going to generate any revenue. That's nonsense. You will. But what you will do whenever you follow this chronological order is you will maximize the return on investment. You will maximize the return on effort, and you will maximize the dollars that you're spending on everything that you're doing, because this order will maximize what you're doing long term in the digital realm. And let's start going over this. First, let's talk about branding. Because we are a full umbrella type of marketing agency and we offer everything, there are plenty of startups or plenty of tiny mom and pops or small businesses that come to us with just a business plan. That's all they have, or an idea or a concept. So we have to start from the bottom. And that would be branding, the number one step. There are clients that come to us and they just have their name on their website and that's it. And they're like, that's okay. The name on the name on the website tells you who I am. Correct. But there's a certain level of professionalism that you show your potential target market, your clients, whenever they land on a website and there is a beautifully designed logo. And a logo that not only tells them what you do, but it actually involves your logo is so well done that it also conveys maybe even a mission statement, what you're trying to achieve, a lot of different things. You can get very clever and very professional with your branding. And our advice is for you to do that because it will help you establish that branding and professionalism. Look, here is what I will always tell clients with everything. Compare yourself to your competition. Let's say that someone lands on your website and it is very simple and you only have your name on top and that's it. But your competitor, and most of the time that same person will compare you to someone else online. Your competitor has gone through the chronological order. They got their logo, it's beautifully designed, their website looks stunning. Their user flow for the website is effective, and it encourages people to engage and to send their information. Guess who they're going to go with? And that's who you need to compare yourself with. And that's why branding is so important, not only when it comes to logo, but also color schemes, the messaging that you are bestowing with your branding. All of that is extremely important. So do not jump this over. It will help you establish it. Here's another thing that will help you. Online, there's just so much information. But if you have an easily recognizable logo, whether you're on social media or whether they see you on paid ads or whether they see you on Google or whether they see you on your website, you will easily be recognizable. Oh yeah, this is Birdland. We have a giant D. Because our company name is DS&P, but the D is the very large font and bold, lowercase, and you I couldn't even begin to tell you how many people say, "Oh, you guys are the D company." Yes, that's exactly what you're trying to accomplish, for people to recognize you across the board. Here are some examples of clever logos that we were talking about. Chicken Shack or the Geppetto, which is one of my favorites, because just by looking at that and by the color schemes and by the icon, you can immediately tell what they do. You don't even have to go into their websites and figure, just by looking at the menu, I'm sorry, at the logo, you can actually see exactly what they do. Car Hop is another one, kind of like a 50s style diner where cars used to come. It conveys, we convey so much information through what we see, not what we read, what we see. That's why branding is so important. Now let's go into the website. I kind of touched a little bit upon it last time, but website. Once again, going into the comparison mode. You have a website and it works and it's okay. You created it. And you know what? There's a place where people can contact you. And that's fine. But if they're comparing you to someone else who has a website that looks stunning, there is video backgrounds, special loading effects, it actually engages people and it funnels people into a conversion, guess who they're going to go with? Creating a website is a starting point, but creating a website that is effective at what it's supposed to do is the next level. And that's where you want to be. You don't, and even if because there will be clients that say, "Oh yeah, but you know what? All of my competitors, all of their websites stink anyway, so mine is not bad." That's a brilliant position to be in. Because if you're the only one that has a website that looks stunning, it looks like $1,000,000, and all of your competitors, their website looks horrible, guess who everyone is going to be going with when they compare? You, because you took the time to not only develop branding, a beautiful logo, but you also have a website that looks like you know what you're doing. You not only know what you're doing, but it looks like you are an influencer in your market. not a Instagram influencer, that's a different kind of thing, but a business influencer. You know what you're doing. It looks like uh, uh, this is the people that we want to associate. That's what your clients will say. And that's what you want to do. So creating a website, and look, if that's all you can afford, absolutely do it. You need to have website presence. And it's the number one of the three-legged foundation that you absolutely 100% want to do. But if you can take that next step, do it. It is going to be one of the best investments that you will do. It will help you with conversions. It will help you establishing the branding. It will help you being as professional as possible in front of your target market, in front of your clients. By the way, in speaking of website, there's another thing, a common theme that I get from clients, which come to us and say, "Oh, I don't need a website. All of my clients are on Facebook. And you know what? I have a huge following there. Why would I need a website? I don't need it." For those of you, let me tell you, although technically speaking, you are correct. You're not wrong, like some people say. The problem is the problem of focusing on a platform that is not yours is the example that I give to my clients. It's kind of like remodeling a rental. That's what you're doing. You don't want to go into an apartment or even a house that you're renting and start changing the floors and the light fixtures and kitchen cabinets and the toilets and do some fancy automatic because bottom line is it's a rental. That's not yours. Now, if you do the same thing in your own home, that's a different thing. You're investing in your own. You will get that money back when you sell that house. It's exactly the same thing here. If you focus all of it in an external platform like Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, whatever it is, we're not telling you that you shouldn't, but that's not yours. At any moment, they can change the algorithms. And by the way, they change them often, not to your benefit, to their benefit, because they cannot charge people for memberships to Facebook and Instagram and TikTok. But the people that they can charge is businesses. And so they will always be tweaking. It's kind of like a cheese and mouse game. They will throw the cheese out there to you and they will keep pulling it right when you're about to bite. Because what they want to do is basically charge businesses. That's where the money's coming from. That's what finances Zuckerberg to be the number 2 or 3 billionaire in the world. It's not from users. It's from businesses and their advertising. That's the entirety of where Zuckerberg's billions come from. So I'm here to tell you, you can focus on Facebook and you can do TikTok and Instagram, but the website is the one, it's your home, is the one place you can control, is the one place that is your foundation to anything else that you do. And besides, even when you're focusing on Instagram and Facebook, what you're doing is bringing people to your website. You want to get credit for all the traffic that you're generating, for all your efforts that you're doing on a daily basis. You want to bring them to your website. That's where you can gather information from your clients. That's where you can figure out all the analytics. That's where you can start strategizing about how to market properly. That's where you can start creating click funnels, your website. And so even when you're focusing on other portals, you want to be bringing people to your place, to the place that you own, to the place that you control. Next time Facebook does a change in algorithms and they start hiding your content more, it's okay. You know what? It's not a problem because you've matured your website and people are coming to your site, not to your Facebook. By the way, this was a fun project. We collaborated with the Chicago Wine Press. It's a digital periodical. It's a magazine online uh, about wine. I'm a huge wine. My wife got me there. I used to do just the Miller Lights and the Bud Lights, and my wife whipped me into being a little more knowledgeable. I love wine. This was such a fun project. But anyway, I think you can do such amazing things with your online presence. Yeah, this was a fun project. Search engine optimization. I had mentioned that there are 3 steps to the foundation of everything that you're going to do. And as a disclaimer, for most people, the first 2 are logical. Having a logo, having a website, for most, makes sense. The third might not seem as logical. And I'm here to explain why it's so important. Because you build on step 1 and 2. But without 3, the first 2 really don't matter. It's search engine optimization, SEO. It's basically the ability to tell all the search engines who you are, what you do, and who you're doing it for. The who, what, where, and who, what, where, actually. And so what you're doing, you can create a website, and the website can look stunning. It looks amazing, but nobody's landing on your website because the search engines don't know that you exist. And so you're basically taking your website, and on the backside, you're actually explaining everything to the search engines. This is what we do. This is what we specialize on. These are the geographical areas that we focus on. This is our ideal client, all of those things. You're basically telling the search engines to do the work for you. You're basically using Google and Bing and Yahoo and DuckDuckGo and all of the other search engines. You're using them so that they can help you bring traffic. So in reality, out of everything that you will do in your digital marketing, this is the one thing that will generate the most return on investment than anything else that you will do. Because ranking in search results, in organic traffic, will continue to grow over time. There are instances in which you will have some setbacks, and there may be a little bit of a decrease in traffic. It's not always up, but you will never go to 0 because you're always building on the organic traffic and what the search engines are doing. They're enabling. Keep in mind that search engines, their entire goal is to fit the people that come to do a search with the right result. And when you do SEO, you're basically connecting the dots. And you're not uh, trying to convince someone that doesn't want to buy your stuff to buy it. That's a different type of marketing. SEO is about connecting the people who are already looking for you. They are already going to do a purchase either that particular day or in the near future. You're looking to connect the dots. And that's what you do with SEO. Extremely important. You can do steps 1 and 2 and they look brilliant, but you skip number 3 and you're not taking the full benefit of everything else. And let me actually go to, actually, this is an example of what SEO will mean. Prior to, this is, by the way, and this is actually a client that is in a very, very tight market, very competitive. Merchant services, they do the credit card processing. And oh my goodness, talk about a business that has tiny margins. They're not dollars or they're not cents. They're fractions of a cent. And for fractions of a cent, sometimes someone will jump ship and go to a different company because someone's offering instead of 2.95, 2.9. And so anyway, this is the exact example of what SEO can mean for your business. Prior to SEO, this merchant company used to spend $15,000 a month in telemarketing services, having people call businesses for $15,000 a month. Their conversion rate was 1.5%. Now, back in the days, and talk about retro marketing, back in the days, they used to spend a lot less, and their conversions rates were in the teens, 10 or 12% or something like that. But over time, no one is answering scam calls anymore. Everybody's got those filters that block calls, so they had diminished their conversion rates to 1.5%, and that's where he was panicking. And he came to me and he said, "What can we do?" We looked at their website. We looked at everything. Their website was perfect. It needed a little bit of tweaks, but their website was perfect. They just needed to do SEO. In 3 months, they went from 399 sessions and with 312 users, meaning there were 312 people that visited, and they visited the website 399 times. Some people visited more than once. In 3 months, they went from that to 1,200 users with 1,500 sessions. And it kept going up from there. That's what you want to do with SEO. You want to start seeing that traffic come in. Organic. You don't even need to they make that much of an effort, and this is why it's so important, and this is why it's so profitable to do SEO. Part of search engine optimization is building your Google profile, doing your Google business. They keep changing the names. That's Google. They keep changing the name. It used to be at one point Google Plus Business. I don't know how many of you even remember this. Google Plus tried to do a social media platform kind of similar to Facebook. So if you had a Gmail account, you had a Google Plus account. Yeah, well, that never took off. And so they kind of merged it with Google Maps so that businesses could actually have a platform that is similar to Facebook business, where you can post all of your content, where you can have updates, where you can run ads, and that is associated with all of your Google presence. So as part of your SEO, you definitely need to include Google Business, Google Analytics, all of the Google-centric in platforms, because it will definitely help with your leverage and with your ranking on Google. The more information, once again, comparing yourself to others. Someone maybe has a Google Maps page, a Google Business page, but they never update it. It's just sitting there. But you have a business that is constantly updating your Google Business, and it's putting content out there and sharing promotions and constantly in contact with people via chat with your Google Maps. You're comparing the two. Guess who Google is going to send the clients to? Exactly. You want to put yourself in a position in which they're choosing you over your competition. That's what this is all about. And that's how you get long-term sustainability and long-term profitability. Here are examples of what the Google business looks like whenever you pull them up on a desktop or your phone. You want to be as updated as possible. And when Google Plus merged with Google Maps, it allows you to put all kinds of pictures and logos and updates and information and all of that. Plus, it allows you to have one central place where you can have reviews. In our in our industry, there's a plethora of that you have Yelp and Facebook and this and the other in all these platforms where they collect reviews. None are more important your Google Maps, because that directly connects people to the search results and is helping you gain leverage. Do yourself a favor, get involved with all of that. By the way, one last thing before I move on to the next step, and I've taken a ton of time on the first few steps, but they're that important. There are plenty of agencies that will sell SEO as a monthly subscription. And technically speaking, there's nothing wrong with selling SEO as a monthly subscription. But SEO is already kind of a slow burner. It's a slow process. You need to take time in order to start gathering the data, and for Google to start reading, and for them to start ranking you higher. It takes time. But when you're slowing that process even further by having an agency only work on your SEO a couple of hours a month, so that they can extend the membership and can extend the project for as long as possible, it's not the right approach. And that's why our agency offers it completely different. What we do is 95% of everything that you can do in an SEO configuration, we do up front. It's a one-time project. That's it. Because in reality, you can actually have a tech go in there and for a couple of weeks, just configure everything, do the work, do all the things that you need to do, and boom, you're done. 95% of it. The other 5% has to do with content creation later on. That's what I was talking about, uploading your promos and uploading updates and pictures of your team and all of that stuff. You don't want to do that at once. You want to do that as your business is growing. And you want to be updating people about your business. And that's the remaining 5%. But the reality is that 95% of everything that you could do, you can do in one sitting. You know, as long as the sitting is a couple of weeks. But yes, you can do it as a one-time project, and that's what we do. We want to focus on, or you as a business owner wants to focus on that chronological order, moving on to the next step, making sure that you have checked you have that check mark right next to that step so that you can move on to something else. So if possible, look for an agency such as ours that offers that configuration as a one-time project instead of slowly building your content long-term. And then this is why those kind of agencies will tell you, well, it's going to take 6 months to a year for you to start seeing results. Well, yes, because if they're only spending a couple of hours on your project a month, yes, it will take that long. When it doesn't, you will start seeing results sooner rather than later. Do you remember the slide that I showed you on the Merchant Club? In 3 months, they tripled their traffic. And that's where you want to be. Okay. Now, you've done your branding, you've done your website, you've done your SEO. Now, you move on to the other steps. And as a matter of fact, actually, there is I'm going to make a switch here. Typically, after you've done branding, website, SEO, the typical process and the one thing that you would want to do that will generate revenue sooner rather than later is paid ads. Specifically, search paid ads. And what I mean by that is you can throw money at Facebook, and you can throw money at Instagram, and you can throw money at Google, and do so for branding purposes. And there's nothing wrong with that if that's in your long-term marketing strategy. But if what you're looking for is to generate revenue now, what you want to see is invest in ads so that they can generate money now. You do that with search paid ads for most of service-based businesses. There are exceptions to the rule to this. But what you do is basically let's say that you created your website, you did your SEO, and it's a brand new website with brand new SEO. So it's just starting to gather traction. How do you get to having tons of traffic on your website? Search paid ads. Because when you go to, let's say that you're a dentist, and you're a dentist in Bucktown, and you want to you want to say, I am a dentist that specializes in crowns in Bucktown. And so when someone that has been doing searches about crowns and goes around Bucktown, within a 10-mile radius outside of Bucktown, and they do a search of dentist, and you are running a paid ads, guess who's going to show up at the very top? You. And so you don't have to wait 3 months, 6 months, a year. You don't have to wait that long to start seeing traffic. You can do that with search paid ads. So that's typically the next step that you do. Now, I mentioned that there are exceptions to the rule. If what you're selling is an impulse buy, I'll give you a perfect example. And I was actually one of the ones who bought this. I'm a big coffee guy. I love coffee. I'm one of those that will grind coffee every morning, and I have to use the right grinder in the right type of coffee, depending on what coffee drink I'm doing. Yeah. And so I'm on Instagram doing my thing, and all of a sudden I see these beautiful coffee cups. And I'm like, oh my goodness, those things are gorgeous. And I go online and I start doing research, and I see whether this company is legitimate. Yes, and they are on Google, and I was able to see that they actually have a ton of traffic, and that they've been around for a while, tons of good reviews on Google and elsewhere. You know what? These guys look legitimate. Their website looks amazing, stunning. I'm buying. So it took a fraction of a second to see those coffee cups and say, I need to have this. That's an exception to the rule, because you would want to be. I didn't even know these guys existed. I don't go online to search for beautiful coffee cups. No, that's not something you do. But I saw it and I'm like, I have to have this. And that's how I ended up buying it. So there are exceptions to the rule, but paid ads, whether it is on Facebook, if you're an impulse buy, if that's what you're offering, or if you're if you're in the service industry, you want to follow up with paid ads. And then it leads you to social media. Social media is beautiful. You should do it, and it helps with your branding. But that's what its main purpose should be. Because if you have a website, you have your SEO configured, you're getting traffic already from people who want to do business with you. Then all of a sudden, you're not having to rely on Facebook and Instagram and TikTok and Twitter, X, whatever, on everything else to generate those sales. You're doing that. Your well-oiled machine is already doing that. And Facebook is just the icing, the ice cream, icing on the cake. There you go. I'm getting my things all confused here. It's the cherry on top. And yes, you can generate sales from it. And yes, you can generate leads. And yes, it will help your overall strategy. But it's the icing on the cake. It is not your entire marketing strategy. You do not want to be in a position in which Facebook does a change from overnight and all of your traffic dies and you have to start from scratch again. That's why you're building your home, and that's why you're remodeling your home. No one is going to come in there and just kill it just because they decided on a whim to change the algorithm. So you definitely want to. And by the way, people will do this. And I did this whenever I was looking for those coffee cups. I went to their website first. I wanted to see if they were legitimate. I wanted to see if they had a customer service and number. I wanted to see if they looked legitimate. But then I went to their social media. Are they active on social media? Are they posting things? And yes, I see every week, and they're posting reviews, and they're actually showing you how to use those cups. and they're showing you how to do latte art at home. I'm like, you know what? I definitely need these cups, and I'm going to follow them on social media. That's a very organic way of building on your social media. And then finally, you get to, oh, by the way, really quickly, there are 3 different types of paid ads. You can do Google ads, you can do social media, and there's also programmatic advertising. And programmatic advertising, the way it works, I'm not going to go too deep into this because I'm starting to run out of time here. Programmatic advertising, have you ever done a search on, you know, travel to Greece? And then all of a sudden you go to CNN, and then you go to the Wall Street Journal, and then you go to ESPN, and you see these ads on the side, things about Greece in hotels, and how to do rent a car in Greece, how to do a tour guide in Greece. That's programmatic advertising. That's not search. That's programmatic. And what that is doing, and you can do videos, you can do banners, you can do a lot of different things. But that can expand on what you're doing with some of the other paid ads. And it definitely has a position. Programmatic advertising can be extremely beneficial when done correctly, because you can pick and choose who is seeing those ads. And you can get extremely granular on who's seeing those ads. But so anyway, that's another way to do this. And then you get into the more advanced advertising and marketing functions, like connected TV advertising. This is wonderful for branding. And by the way, nowadays you can even create a click funnel, create a user flow, because most connected TV ads actually have a QR code. And you can scan that QR code, and they basically take you to a landing page, and you start that client journey. So connected TV ads, by the way, is so much cheaper to produce and to run compared to traditional TV advertising. By the way, I actually read yesterday, because in May, you have all of the studios, the NBCs, the ABCs of the world, come out with their new shows and the releases and the this and the other, in order to entice people to advertise. The market of advertising has diminished so much with conventional TV advertising. And I totally see it, because with connected TV advertising, you can choose in a granular way exactly who's going to see your ad, the age, the gender, the everything that you can think of. You can pick and choose who's going to be seeing your ad. And if it's someone that's already interested in the things that you have to do, that's where you get a bigger return on investment. But you also have AR and VR, apps for the Vision Pro, Apple Vision Pro, which, by the way, if some of you are on trying to decide whether to get it, I think that technology is just incredible. And right now that it's in its infancy, you have actually a marketing advantage, because not a lot of people are on there. So if AR, VR, XR is within the realm of your capabilities, do it now, because you're putting yourself, this is kind of like the early stages of the internet. The people who did SEO in the very beginning, oh, they made a killing. Same thing for AR and VR. And same thing for people that want to go into the MetaQuest for Facebook, and the Vision Pro for Apple. It's in its infancy, and you can do so much within that platform. Examples of connected TV advertising. This is Booking.com, by the way, allowing you to actually pick and choose so that you are engaging with a customer. There are so many creative things that you can do in connected TV ads. And by the way, they go on your Hulus and your Netflix and all of those things. And now Prime is going to be offering ads too. So anyway, it's definitely, if you have it within your budget, it's definitely a way to explore it. And I can tell you this much: if you are spending on billboards and in TV, conventional TV and radio, this is the way to go, and you're going to see a much, much larger return on investment, just for you to keep it in mind. We're talking about the AR and VR, which allows you to do augmented reality. Home Depot has an amazing app where you can actually point your phone, and the piece of furniture that you're thinking of, it actually will place it there. And it's an amazing tool to actually create more conversions. Virtual reality. Anyway, and here is where we get to the end of the to the webinar. Follow that chronological order, and I guarantee you, we've been doing this for 15 years. I guarantee you that you're going to have a larger return on investment. And if you have questions, if you just want to get an assessment on your business, if you want to discuss strategies, if you want to just see where you are, if your SEO is configured correctly, contact us. Here is our information. And I'm going to go back to the, while I answer some of your calls, I'm going to go back to the first slide so that you can scan the QR code if you need anything. We're here to be a support system to entrepreneurs and businesses in Chicago and beyond. We have offices in New York, Dallas, in Chicago. In this same webinar, we're actually going to start teaching it in both Manhattan and Dallas as well in this year. So anyway, we're here to serve you. If you have questions, anything else, don't hesitate to reach out. Let me go back, and then I'll give BACP an opportunity to get involved with the questions and answers.
Great. Thank you for a great presentation.
Thank you, Geraldine.
If anyone has any questions, if they could please put it in the chat. We do have a few that came in. Should I do Google Biz Profile if my business is e-commerce with no storefront?
Do you remember the beginning of the presentation I mentioned? We're not here to tell you that if you only do step 3 or do step 5, or you do the order in reverse order, that you're not going to have any success. You can do it. The problem that if you have a only Google product, for instance, or if you are only on Facebook or Instagram Market or TikTok Shops, you're going to, at one point or another, go through algorithm changes. You're going to have problems. And by the way, this also applies to Amazon. Amazon will suspend your account in a heartbeat. And it's not a matter of innocent until proven guilty. In all of these platforms, is you're guilty until you prove to us that you're innocent. Fair or not, that's the way it works. So regardless, that chronological order will help you for long-term sustainability and profitability. But if you want to focus on only step 3, you're welcome to do that. You may have, at one point, hurdles to overcome, but you can do that as well.
Great, thank you. Can you explain how impulse buy products are the exception to the paid ads rule? I don't understand. Are you saying paid ads don't assist with impulse buy products?
It could. But we're talking about kind of two different things. And I did the example of the coffee cups, the mugs. They're gorgeous. I absolutely, by the way, recommend them. They're beautiful. They're all glass, and you can see the coffee in. Anyway, I'm getting. I'm changing the subject. That's an impulse buy. I don't go online to search for coffee mugs. That's not something that I do typically on a typical search, unless you broke all your cups and you want to. And at that point, yes, you want to be there as well, as far as having your SEO. But this is where your SEO actually comes into play too. But buying those mugs that I didn't even know existed, that's an impulse buy. That's something that I didn't even know when I went to Instagram that morning that I would be buying, because I did not know it existed. Let me tell you another thing that I bought. It's a little thread for the AirPods. that you can connect at the ends, and it's a little braided string that goes around it. And so when you take them off, it actually by magnets connects. I didn't even know I needed this, but it's amazing. I love that thing. I use my AirPods for running. Now I'm not afraid that they're going to fall off when I'm walking with my suitcase in and everything to work. It's incredible. I love it. I did not know it existed. It's an impulse buy. That's the difference between an impulse buy and in conventional search paid ads.
Okay, great. Thank you. Looking for any other questions? Lots of great information, great information. Lots of great information. Thank you for answering. Thanks for today's lecture.
Man, I guess I nailed it.
I think you did. It says
I went off for a while, so I understand.
very
But
knowledgeable. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
my
Lots of thank
pleasure.
yous and great information. We'll give everyone one more minute. Thank you for today's lecture. Can you show the slide before the last one? They're asking.
Before the last one, can you expand on?
It just says, yeah, can you show the slide before the last one?
Okay, let's go all the way to the last one. This is the last one.
Okay, one before that.
Okay, and then this one.
Yes.
This is it.
Yeah, I believe so.
Okay.
Again, thank you so much. Let's check here one more time. How often should you audit your efforts?
Oh, actually, great question. Great question. Do you remember when I mentioned that 95% of your SEO can be done in upfront? Now, that's actually a question that I get asked all the time. Okay, so if I do 95%, does that mean that I never have to change it? So it's good to audit your SEO every so often, just so that you can compare it to what your competition is doing on the market, to look at keyword strategies that are working now that were not even relevant a year ago, or things like that. Also, if you change what you're offering, the products or the services, or you're expanding or you're closing, those are things are extremely important, and you want to tweak not only your SEO, obviously your website, and kind of get everything working together. So yes, you should audit once a year at a minimum. And if you're doing changes, definitely you want to make some changes to your SEO, to your Google presence, to everything else. Excellent question.
Great, thank you. What are your thoughts on AI tools to help improve SEO?
They're good, but let's put an emphasis on tools. It's so funny. AI, well, we are already in marketing in an industry that changes day to day. It really does. Uh, Things that we're going to be working on marketing 6 months from now didn't even exist now. That's how things change. But AI has moved, has gone through all kinds of different cycles in the year and a few months that's been around in its worldwide release. And here's the reason why I'm bringing this up. In the very beginning, it came out and they're like, oh, we're all out of our jobs, including, by the way, all of the marketing agencies, because AI is going to take over everything. We went to then, oh, AI is amazing, what I could do in universities, blocking it from giving you an F if you used ChatGPT. Look, there is an emphasis on tools. By the way, just a little disclaimer, I have a second company that I'm starting that does AI for businesses, which basically we implement customized AI tools for businesses because the future of AI is being a tool. So an emphasis on tool. We use AI, programmatic advertising, for instance, and even Google Ads. We have a software program in which we use AI for constant optimization. But it is just a tool because it needs to be monitored by someone who knows what they're doing. Because AI will make a right turn, unexpected right turn or left turn, and all of a sudden it goes down a rabbit hole that it never ends, and you can get yourself in deep trouble that way. So you always need to have someone that knows what they're doing, monitoring what AI is doing. Otherwise, you get into trouble. The other thing that is happening within marketing, specifically when it comes to creating images and video and all of these other different things, they're good for you to implement them. But what we're seeing is that right now there is actually a curve happening against AI created content from users. And so this is actually a perfect opportunity for all the people who have fired their entire departments and are letting ChatGPT and AI tools do everything. This is a perfect opportunity for you to connect one-on-one, to be human with your clients. Guess who they're going to go with? If they know that they have an AI tool that's creating fake people with multiple fingers, and or someone that's establishing a human connection. So this is an opportunity for the good, for the bad, and even for you to actually take advantage of humanizing your effort more than ever. AI is here to stay. AI will change the world like the internet changed the world back in the mid 90s. It changed everything for us from back in the AOL days on doing chat. If you would explain to someone now that because of the internet, if you would explain someone in 95 that because of the internet, you would have a connected refrigerator that could scan the contents of your fridge and can order to Whole Foods automatically and deliver it with you even touching anything and deliver it to your front door. That the internet was going to allow you to do this, or for you to actually, as you're approaching your home, turn your lights on, turn the AC on, and do all this stuff. The internet is helping you do all those things. If you would try to explain to someone in the 90s that was using AOL Messenger and you got mail, that the internet was going to do this, it was going to be hard for them to comprehend. AI, we are in the infancy of AI. We are in the AOL days of AI. It's going to change everything. And we need to, it's our job to basically mold it so that it become an amazing tool for everything that we do.
Great, thank you. When should you leverage video versus content?
When? All the time. Video is king. Video is one way that you can humanize your marketing. Video is one way that you can convey messages. Do you remember in the very beginning of the webinar, I mentioned how something that you see, whether it's a logo, whether it's a color scheme, whether it's a website layout, or whether it is a video of your business or the product or service that you offer, you can convey so much more because our brains are able to consume and process a lot more information visually than reading. And so this is why a website should never be, or your overall content should not be the old versions of Wikipedia with all kinds of explanations of everything. Look, nobody's going to read through that. But if you have a small video of what you do, what you specialize on, or the product, what makes it special, your competitive advantages, it will always 100% of the time be a lot more effective. So you should leverage video all the time. Include it on YouTube, include it on social media, include it on your Google business profile. Include it on your website. Video needs to be everywhere.
Great. Another question. Can you give price examples of placing connected ads on Hulu and other apps?
That will vary greatly. There is no such a thing as a universal rule. It will vary greatly depending on what you're advertising, who your target market is. I'll give you a perfect example. Let's say that you were a dentist in Bucktown and you want to advertise only in the near vicinity of Bucktown. Your budget can go a lot further because you're focusing on something really narrow. But let's say that you're a pharmaceutical company and you want to advertise to the entire United States. The same budget is not going to apply because if you want to focus in the entire United States, that budget needs to reflect it. And as a matter of fact, we typically, when you have something like that, that is being advertised nationwide, we typically recommend for you to focus on markets that will have the greatest return on investment first. And once you mature those markets and there is plenty of organic traffic coming from them, then you can start utilizing other markets. But there's already a steady stream of income coming from that will help you finance the rest of your marketing. So there is, I know that this may sound like a cop out, but it's not. It can vary so much depending on who you are and who you're offering it to.
Okay, great. Thank you. Again, great presentations. I think that is all of the questions. I want to thank you so much for a great presentation and just echoing the attendees, great presentation. Thank you. Thank you. And I want to thank everyone for attending. I hope everyone has a great, safe, and warm weekend and no rain, hopefully. Everyone have a great one. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Thank you, BACP. Appreciate it so much.